that there's a lot of young entrepreneurs that are watching us today. What is one advice from a CEO that's been through a lot of challenges and overcame those challenges would you tell them to keep on going? What's your advice to them?
Oh, a single piece of advice, that's really tough. I would say if you really want to succeed, then spend your formative years doing more action and less time telling people that you want to succeed on Instagram.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. I agree with you, because some people just focus more on, I want to become so and so, I want to do this, rather than actually doing it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the three words, consistency, motivation, and determination? How do you believe these three words helped you?
I think they come as a package with most entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And I think the defining difference between an entrepreneur and someone who's tried to run their own business for a little while is, even when you've had a very tough day, at the end of a very tough week, you can still remember those three words, because they just happen out of your being.
Okay.
I think if you have to work super hard at working a lot of hours, then maybe running your own business isn't for you. By the same token, if you've got the determination to succeed and you have that work ethic, then just keep going, because you do not have 365 doors that open for you at the right time in a year.
100%.
All you need is one, and that might be tomorrow.
Good morning and welcome to a new episode of GN Talks. Please welcome with me today a very special guest. Good morning, Mr. Steve. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
So before we start and talk about your business, our audience would like to know more about you and who you are and what exactly do you do?
Okay, my name is Steve Laidlaw. I am a long-standing entrepreneur. I'm originally from the UK. Then my family and I have lived in Dubai now for around 3 years.
Okay.
I operate in lots of different business areas, but my primary business is in online PR, Digital24.
Okay, so let's talk more about Digital24. What can you tell us more about the company? Is it a PR company? Is it a digital company? If you could share more details about the company itself.
Okay, so we are pretty much a full service agency.
Okay.
It's born as one thing and then evolved over the last 20 years. But we specialize in article syndication, online public relations, reputation management, and social media engagement.
Okay, nice. My question is, why did you choose this industry to enter into the UAE market?
So the question probably starts a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Back in the olden days, in 2007, I had an e-commerce company, and I was using an external agency for marketing and PR. And we paid them a lot of money, and we didn't get a very good job done.
Okay.
So I started researching some of the information that was required and the knowledge that was required, and realized that actually PR is like lots of industries, where you do simple things very well and follow a process with dedication, and then you get a good result. So I employed an internal team and started to become more specialist in digital marketing, and particularly PR. So over the last 15 to 20 years, I've developed numerous different companies within that area, from newswire production to personal branding to website design and SEO. But PR has always been the heart of that.
Okay.
And over the last few years, the demand, while subsiding a little in the UK, has really flourished and exploded in the UAE. And it's a beautiful place to live and raise a family, right?
It is.
So around 3 years ago, my wife and I made the decision to move our operations and our home over here.
Okay.
And as such, we've effectively picked up the company and brought it to Dubai.
Amazing. So first of all, it's great to have you guys here in Dubai. But I'm sure that anyone who first establishes any company, regardless whether it was in the UAE or outside the UAE, they face some challenges. What were some of the challenges that you had faced?
I think in the very early stages, like many people who start a business, we started a business with less money than we had to start the business.
Okay.
So managing cash flow and doing the basics has always been a big challenge. In fact, now I do a lot of work advising young entrepreneurs on how to build the foundations of their business.
Okay.
And always put a big focus on those foundations being done well.
Okay.
But after that, I think the biggest challenge within the digital marketing and online PR space is that the marketplace is constantly evolving. So
Mm.
what works this year and what is best practice this year, if you don't constantly move forward and acquire new knowledge and good people within that industry, you quickly stagnate and go backwards. So I think that's probably been the biggest challenge over the last few years.
Okay, can you share with us a success story? Let's say one of a client's testimonial, perhaps, on one of the PR that you have done for them.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that's really satisfying about what I do is that if we do our job well and we have a great team, like a really fantastic team of professionals in house, um, we will never be known by the general public.
Okay,
A lot of the clients that I work with, we have disclosure policies and non-disclosure agreements. But the best accolade that we can get is either a client directly sending an email or in a meeting or over lunch saying, look, you've really helped us to expand and solidify our business. But one of the greatest accolades I had is a client who I can't name because they are under a non-disclosure, but they started as a high growth, new start fintech company.
okay,
They're based in the UAE, but they also have offices in San Francisco and in Miami.
okay,
And they had this initial spurt of growth and interest within the company. And then for whatever reason, they grew a little bit too quick and they lost focus of their core values
mm,
and their success started to diminish. So via another client of mine, I was put in touch with them and we had a meeting and we talked about what I would propose as solutions to problems, which are actually, like I said before, just simple things done well. All the
okay,
things that you think in a day that you should do from a public relations
mm-hmm.
perspective, they're the things to do. We put in place a campaign and over a 3-month period, we'd managed to make full reclamation of their lost exposure.
Okay,
2 years later, they won an award which was attached to the NASDAQ.
oh,
And they silently announced us in their speech of award as saying that the PR company that they'd worked with was actually absolutely incremental in not only the success that they'd been given on that night and the accolade, but also the survival of the company.
wow.
So what's really nice in our job is that we get to feel like quiet wins in the
Okay.
background. I'm quite happy to usually be the guy that's not in front of the camera.
Okay, so it's actually our pleasure today to have you with us in front of the camera, so people can actually see, the person that created the company. Just not because what happens is many people want to see the face behind the business, right? So
Yeah.
this is why today we have you here with us, so that you can not only let us know more about the company itself, but also to see, the success story, the hard work, the long hours that have led to where you have reached today. So it's our pleasure to have you with us.
Oh, my pleasure also.
Yeah. So you're also saying that you do mentor a lot of entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
Can you share more details on this?
Yeah, for sure. It's something that I started doing quite informally a few years ago. I think a lot of people in business, when you reach a level of success, the measures that you thought would be important,
Yeah.
making an amount of money, having an amount of turnover, different offices in different locations, once you've achieved those things, I and a lot of other senior entrepreneurs that I know are left with this kind of hollow space of what's my reason to continue to next year and the year after.
Okay.
And what I realized is I used to get a huge amount of satisfaction out of giving simple, good quality advice to young entrepreneurs.
Okay.
The work ethic of being an entrepreneur is something that you can't ever possibly overestimate. It's fundamentally important to building a business. And when you identify that in a young person that maybe has a huge amount of success to get out of themselves,
Mm.
but doesn't know what they don't know, they have intelligence, but they don't yet have the knowledge.
Okay.
It's such a pleasurable process to be able to impart that knowledge on them and see them grow at this accelerated rate. So I'd done this informally with, firstly with a friend's son, and then with a couple of other young people that I'd just come across in business. And then started to structure that a little more formally. So
Okay.
I work on a free basis with a couple of young high growth entrepreneurs.
Okay.
I also offer mentoring services to high growth companies and people who have a passion to succeed.
Interesting. How do you manage your time between Digital24 and mentoring young entrepreneurs? How do you manage to keep that work-life balance?
Okay, so being completely honest,
Yeah.
work-life balance is not something that I'm very good at.
Okay.
If you ask my wife and my children and my friends, they will say the same, that we will have plans to go out for dinner or go on a vacation, and a project will come in front of me and it sparks the interest, and I'm so passionate about that
Okay.
that oftentimes it just takes over my life for a day or a week or a month.
Okay.
I think the key to being a successful entrepreneur is having tolerant people around you who
Okay.
understand that you do what you do with a huge amount of passion, so that when you let them down a little bit from a time perspective, they know that it's for good purpose. Um, Within that, I'm absolute chaos. If we run a PR campaign, it's like super structured. Everything is laid out
Okay.
days or weeks or months in advance. Me, I'm like a Tasmanian devil who'd been eating sweets all morning,
Okay.
right? So I'm constantly running around at 100 miles an hour.
Okay, interesting. Let's talk more about your support system. So, in this case, when you're trying to, sometimes let's say you have a plan with the family, who's your support system that tells you it's fine, it's okay, focus on your passion, we can do the outing later?
Oh, that's my wife,
That's
100%.
your wife.
Yeah.
Let's send her some regards as well from the show to your amazing wife, which she also owns along with you, and she manages multiple companies.
That's correct, yeah.
Shout out to women empowerment.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
I can clearly see that you support women empowerment. What's your intake on this?
Well, first of all, I have an extremely determined and strong and independent wife.
Okay,
Um, and I also have a 13-year-old daughter, and my
okay.
aspiration for her is to only be happy in life,
God bless.
but be also independent with her own thoughts as well. So, yeah, absolutely, I'm fully in support of your cause.
Amazing. So let's go back to Digital 24. Let's say if you go back in time, would you still choose to enter into the PR company, or would you have decided maybe that you would want to take a different turn, go to a different type of field? Why did you choose this field specifically?
The industry of PR is where my passion absolutely
So
lies.
that's where your passion lies.
Yeah.
Okay, if you go back in time and if you were to change one thing, what would it be regarding this company?
I would fail faster.
You would fail faster.
Yeah, I would understand that fighting for low budget clients who don't understand the value of quality
Okay,
is not the way forward. We spent a lot of years, particularly in the UK,
okay,
battling to justify why we were better than other people.
okay,
And I think once our own perception of our quality of service, because we work incredibly hard
okay,
to provide a really, really good service. We don't
okay.
hold clients into contracts, for example.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like what we're doing, then you should go somewhere else. I think if we'd have focused more energy on the clients that really wanted to move forward
Okay,
and less on trying to pay the bills that month,
okay.
we maybe would have saved 10 years. But I'm really happy with where we are now. So
Of
that's not a
course.
complaint.
Of course. This is a question that I always ask people because it's very interesting to know, because sometimes you want to take a certain direction in life and then something happens and then you take it somewhere else. So this is why I always like to know the story of how you got into the industry itself. Let's talk more about competition.
Mhm.
We know that the UAE is a highly competitive place to be in. So how does Digital 24 stand out from the competitors?
Well, it's quite interesting actually, because there are obviously numerous PR companies and online marketing companies and reputation management companies within the UAE. But where we're a little different is many of these companies will use external assets, so
Okay,
external news sites or syndication tools. We own most of our own assets.
okay,
We're probably one of the biggest news syndication direct asset owners in the world at this point.
okay.
So we can be absolutely assured of the quality and the speed and the veracity of every piece of news that we're putting out,
Okay,
which gives us the ability to build a highly powerful, highly targeted campaign very, very quickly for a client.
amazing. How do you see the digital landscape in the Middle East in general?
Um, it's really exciting at the moment. It's super fast moving because the levels of competitiveness for all business in the UAE are currently much lower than Europe or the UK or the US.
Okay,
Many of the marketplaces over here really high value, whereas in different parts of the world, the value has been diminished because competition is higher.
100%.
And the UAE is an explosion of entrepreneurial activity at the moment. So the way that we can see that progressing over the next few years is huge growth.
Okay.
And I think we've got a lot of potentials for unicorn companies here to start as a tiny nucleus and become huge international corporations within a very short space of time.
Interesting. And a question that I always ask agencies, PR agencies, companies related to the digital field: how do you see AI impacting this industry? Do you think that will ever take over completely?
I think in PR, there are two elements.
Mm,
There are those structural elements of the campaign, which will be simple things following a clear methodology with a well-focused brief that are done well. And yeah,
okay.
for sure, AI is going to take over a lot of those activities. But as everybody has more access to more of those activities,
Mm,
the X factor is still going to be the personal implementation and dealing with a crisis or a reputational issue or something where at present it still needs a human interaction to really understand the depth of the problem of the client.
mhm.
So I think AI will allow every client to win and get better service over the next few years, which I think is fantastic.
Okay.
But I still think there is a huge place for that high degree of quality and knowledge within a real person.
Okay, interesting, because some people do say that AI is completely going to be taking over, like completely. So I don't know. Sometimes I agree, sometimes I disagree, because the human element is still needed and you cannot, get rid of that. At least we hope so for now. Let's talk more about the credibility and the trust that you gain from your clients throughout multiple projects, campaigns. How do you maintain the credibility with your clients?
Well, really, credibility and reputation is what we do.
Yeah.
So many of the high net worth clients and private clients that we deal with for reputation management, for
Mhm.
example, have arrived at our meeting table because of a reputational issue or external attempts at sabotage or damage of a reputation. So whilst that means that the first interaction that we have with the client is usually very, very challenging,
Okay.
it also means that very quickly within those relationships, we immediately gain credibility because we've had the opportunity to show these people how we solve a problem.
Okay. So basically, the client comes with a problem and Digital24 comes with a solution.
Yes, we do.
So my question is to you: where are you guys, first of all, located, and how can the audience connect with you guys?
So we're based in Media City,
Okay.
and we have all the usual channels: website, Instagram, TikTok, X. There are many different ways. You can even send a pigeon if you like.
Okay. And how many employees do you guys have?
Locally in the UAE, we are at 16 people.
Okay.
Internationally, our network of full-time, part-time, directly employed is just under 100.
Under 100. And obviously, you do have a diverse team. Do you have any clients that only want to do, let's say, Arabic content?
No, we don't have a single one that solely works in Arabic at the
Okay.
moment.
Ah, okay.
I think historically, we tend to gravitate towards the markets that we relate to most easily.
Okay.
And whilst my daughter is at school learning Arabic, I
Okay.
have yet to take up lessons. So apart from the 6 words that we all learn the day that we get off the plane into the UAE,
Do you want to name some?
yalla,
Yalla.
voila,
Well,
inshallah.
inshallah.
That one's the heartbreaker one because that means you're not getting the thing that they're promising you. Um, Outside of that, natural path of communication is a little limited.
Okay.
Now, as it happens at the moment, we're in the process of recruiting 2 account managers.
Okay.
One who is going to be based primarily within the GCC area,
Okay.
who with a native tongue, and another one who's going to be working in the North African region as well, which is another huge growth area and very accessible from a time zone perspective for us.
Okay. So let's talk more about your mentoring business, because this really interests me a lot. And I'm sure that there's a lot of young entrepreneurs that are watching us today. What is one advice from a CEO that's been through a lot of challenges and overcame those challenges? Would you tell them to keep on going? What's your advice to them?
A single piece of advice, that's really tough. I would say if you really want to succeed,
Yeah,
then spend your formative years doing more action and less time telling people that you want to succeed on
that's
Instagram.
a good one. That's a really good one. I agree with you because some people just focus more on, I want to become so and so, I want to do this rather than actually doing it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the three words consistency, motivation, and determination? How do you believe these three words helped you?
I think they come as a package with most entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And I think the defining difference between an entrepreneur and someone who's tried to run their own business for a little while is even when you've had a very tough day, at the
Mm,
end of a very tough week, you
okay.
can still remember those three words because they just happen out of your being.
Okay.
I think if you have to work super hard at working a lot of hours, then maybe running your own business isn't for you. Uh, by the same token, if you've got the determination to succeed and you have that work ethic,
Okay.
then just keep going because you do not have 365 doors that open for you at the right time in a year.
100%.
All you need is one, and that might be tomorrow.
And how do you do the mentoring? Do you do the mentoring online, face to face? How can they connect with you to do the mentoring?
Always face to face.
Always face to face.
Yeah.
And how can they connect with you?
They can go through my personal website, stevelaidlaw.com.
Okay.
Or if you have any young entrepreneurs that want to reach out for a conversation, they can go through the team at Digital24 also.
Okay. And let's say if there's someone that's watching us outside of the UAE and they want to have an online mentoring, would that also be possible? I'm sure they're asking me this now.
I mean, if they want to jump on a flight to the UAE or meet me when I'm on my travels somewhere for a coffee, I'd be happy to do that. But I think for me to give authentic quality of service, I need to understand the person.
Okay.
And that's very difficult for me to do via a telephone or a Teams meeting.
Okay, so that's interesting because now most people do a lot of online mentoring, online therapy, online coaching, online. But I also do believe I agree with you on this point that face to face is always better and it's much more impactful, I believe, than over the online. But how do you think Corona affected this to turning everything online?
Oh, I think the pandemic actually created a huge amount of development and advancement in many industries because it had to.
Yeah,
Without being able to evolve, there were hundreds of industries that would have just died overnight, and millions of people would have been left destitute.
yeah.
So I think as human beings, even though we're a bit lazy in 2025,
Okay,
I think we're incredibly resourceful and dynamic when we need to be, and I think
okay.
that's what the Corona pandemic really brought out.
Do you believe in work from home ethics? Do you believe in the work from home?
No,
No.
which is contradictory because
Okay.
I have multiple offices in different parts of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, I will never be found in the office.
You'll never be found in the office.
No, I'm like a work nomad. I'll be in my car or having a coffee and working, not just having a coffee and not working.
Okay.
But I like the free spirited mentality to be able to put variety in my working day.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
I do think, though, for most people, the structure of an environment is really important to be able to keep yourself honest to how dedicated your workday is. But also, I think for many people, it's really important to be able to leave their work in a place and switch off.
100%.
Maybe not so much for entrepreneurs. I don't think that's really part of our makeup, but the theory's nice.
The theory is nice, for sure. What do you believe is the secret recipe for success?
Work ethic.
Work ethic.
Yeah, I think if you're a 18-year-old or a 25-year-old or a 35-year-old entrepreneur that's on the build, no one cares that you're a little tired. 16-hour days, 7 days a week, that's where we cut our teeth. And anyone that I know that's become very successful, even if they look like they're on the tip of the iceberg and they're chilling out now, they've put huge amounts of time and effort into building what they've built. The foundation layers are always the most difficult.
100%. Okay, so you did mention that Digital24 offers a solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the problems that people have in regards to, establishing their name and in the PR industry itself?
Okay, so that's a really interesting question because oftentimes when a client approaches us from a company or a corporate perspective, we will be approached with a presentation of a problem.
Okay.
Oftentimes in the process of going through getting to know you phase of a conversation, we will diagnose that the problem isn't the problem that they think. So, for example, there's a huge sway at the moment towards if we're trying to do anything that uses social media as an outreach or a sales platform, we need 1 million followers.
Okay.
You don't need 1 million followers. You need targeted followers. You need to then create a path of content that is engaging to them and relevant. Then it needs to be amplified at the right times of day, in the right method. We need to be able to get that 3-second visual of your messaging across. Not try and put 3 messages across when you only need to amplify 1. So I think first of all, understanding the problem and not the client's perception of the solution, that's really important.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting, because sometimes I'm sure clients come to you with a solution that they do believe will actually work, but you, as an expertise in this field, will have to tell them that no. And does it get challenging sometimes when you have a different vision than what the client has?
Yeah, for sure. Like that can become all kinds of adversarial conversation.
Yeah.
And ultimately, there is no right or wrong answer. So we don't offer a guarantee of if you do this and this, you will make this many sales on this day.
Okay.
PR is about a directional shift.
Okay.
It's about creating momentum. That momentum is, generally speaking, very measurable over a period of time. But the specific finites of the results have so many variables within them that it's impossible to give an exact number at the end of it. It's not mathematics. It's more like art. So to be able to define the outcome of an initial process of a problem is challenging. Now, how we usually try and overcome that is by working with the client to understand what their need,
Okay.
and then what their ambition or want is.
Okay.
So if we can draw out their linear scale from where they are to where they need to be to where they'd like to be, and make sure those goals are both ambitious but realistic.
Okay.
Then what we do is we start at the end and we will plot a path backwards and work out all the activities that are required. We usually build in a little bit of a buffer. We usually like to over deliver and under promise. So if we're saying that we'll hit this milestone in 6 months, in the back of my mind, I'm usually thinking we're probably going to smash that in 4. And there is a lot of personal pride involved in this as well.
Okay.
I love giving clients good news.
Amazing. What's every company has a mission and vision. What's the mission and vision of Digital24?
Better, faster, more cost effective.
Amazing. Better, faster, more cost effective. I like that. I'm going to ask you the question that I'm sure you've been asked one day long ago when you first started. The typical question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where does Steve see himself in 5 years?
I still don't know if I can answer that far in the future. If there's one thing that the last 10 years has showed me, it's that whatever path that I think I'm on, wherever the line that I'm drawing through my life is going, it's never a straight line.
Okay.
And it never gets to exactly the location that I think. I live a really fortunate life now.
Okay.
And I am trying very hard to realign that balance, as we talked about earlier, between work, life, and direction. So I think for me, if I can be spending a little bit more quality time with my wife and my children, and seeing my small but very dedicated team grow within themselves and as a number, and we maintain this incredibly high standard of client satisfaction, I think I'm pretty happy with that at this point, actually.
Amazing. And where do you see Digital24? Do you see Digital24 taking all over the UAE, inshallah, very soon? And inshallah here, we mean inshallah.
I will not use the word inshallah, but yes, 100%. We have a very clear focus, very specific objectives through a lot of hard work over the coming years, and a truly fantastic and talented team that we, if somebody is better than us and doesn't allow us to get to number 1, they deserve to be number 1, because we're working really hard in that direction.
God bless. Hopefully you will be number 1. And it was actually a pleasure to have you with us today, to learn more about you as a person, to learn more about Digital24, about the mentoring for all of these young entrepreneurs, which will one day hopefully become in your shoes and become a CEO and be like, I was one day mentored by Steve. If this could be something later on in the future, if one of these entrepreneurs that you are mentoring now, and you see them become a CEO one day, how much happiness and satisfaction would that give you as a person?
That for me genuinely is a goosebumps moment. I think I truly love my occupation. I have an absolute gift that I've been able to live this life and do this as a job every day. And if other young people can take that ambition and want this as much as I do, to be able to help them on the journey to maybe stand on my shoulders and reach even further because they've been able to save years of mistakes, that would be an amazing accolade. Amazing.
Amazing. Is there any final message that you would like to share with our audience that's watching us today?
That is a high pressure question that I didn't expect that was coming. I think without trying to sound like Andy Elliott or David Goggins or one of these really famous, incredibly motivational speakers, I think perseverance and determination with enough time will get you to most places that you want to be. You don't need to be the most intelligent, wealthiest, well-resourced person in the room. You just need to work harder than everybody else. So if you have a goal and you really, really want to achieve it, just keep moving forward with it.
Amazing. And before we end this, I do see you as a motivational speaker. Will you ever consider becoming one? Maybe having your own YouTube channel, doing something like that?
I mean, look, we never say never, right? But
Never say never.
But this is my 15 minutes in the spotlight. I'm really happy to go to the other side of the camera for the rest of the month now.
Okay, so it was our pleasure actually to have you with us in front of the camera, and people can see who Steve is. I guess we're gonna wrap the show for now. Anything you want to add?
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
It was our pleasure. So this is the end of GN Talks for today. Stay tuned to another upcoming, well-established business in the UAE and globally. Take care.